Alright, so if you've been diving into Hollow Knight Silksong, you already know the game throws a ton of tools and skills your way to help Hornet slice, stab, and dance around enemies. But here's the thing, those are nice, sure, yet nothing really flips the script like the Crests. These little game changers don't just tweak your stats, they straight up redefine how Hornet moves, attacks, and even heals. It's almost like slapping on a new personality every time you switch one out. Some Crests make you feel untouchable. Others, well, let's just say they're better left in the inventory. Now, there are 7 Crests in total, each with its own quirks, strengths, and weaknesses. And honestly, once you get your hands on their evolved forms, that's when things really start getting wild. Some of them feel so smooth and satisfying to use that you'll never want to take them off. So in this video, we're ranking every Crest, looking at how well they handle the horrors of Farloom, and figuring out which one truly deserves to sit at the top of the throne for Hornet, the Queen of the Weavers. I'm quickly moving on to the video. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching! The Beast Crest is one of those rewards in Hollow Knight Silksong that feels both exciting and frustrating at the same time. You finally take down the Savage Beastfly boss, and let's be honest, that fight has probably made you rage more times than you would like to admit, and you are given this shiny new crest. On paper, it sounds powerful, less range but significantly more damage per hit. That trade-off looks tempting, especially if you are the type of player who enjoys aggressive playstyles. The problem is that the Beast Crest only really shines in boss battles. Outside of those encounters, it feels more like a handicap than an upgrade. Platforming sections become more awkward, and regular enemies are not very forgiving when your range is cut short. Healing through binding becomes a nightmare too, since you now need to land multiple hits just to recover 3 masks. It pushes you into risky situations that can backfire quickly if your timing is even slightly off. And let's talk about that downward slash. With the Beast Crest equipped, Hornet is flung forward in this odd spinning attack that follows a strange arc. It feels clunky and inconsistent, and while it can sometimes hit harder than expected, it is just as likely to send you flying into danger. So yes, the Beast Crest has its place, but it is more of a situational tool than a reliable companion. It is the kind of upgrade you slot in when you want to melt a boss's health bar, not when you are exploring or just trying to survive the journey. The Hunter Crest is the very first crest you begin with in Hollow Knight Silksong, and honestly, it is not a bad starting point at all. It gives you a balanced kit with average damage, decent range, and moderate speed. On top of that, you get a straightforward bind and a solid tool slot layout, making it a comfortable choice for early exploration. It feels reliable, and for a first impression, it sets you up with exactly what you need to get familiar with Hornet's playstyle. That said, once you start comparing it to other crests you discover later, the Hunter starts to feel a little bland. One of the most common complaints players have is with the diagonal downward strike. While it can chain nicely against certain enemies, lining it up properly in platforming-heavy areas can be frustrating. It just does not feel smooth or intuitive, especially when the game throws precise jumps and tight enemy placements at you. In the end, the Hunter Crest is reliable, but that reliability is also what makes it forgettable. It does not excel in damage, range, or speed, and it does not provide any special utility that would make you want to keep it equipped long-term. Most players will move on to stronger, more specialized crests as soon as they unlock them, leaving the Hunter as nothing more than a starting tool that gets outclassed fairly quickly. The Reaper Crest is tucked away in the Chapel of the Reaper in Greymoor, and it is definitely one of the more unique crests in Hollow Knight Silksong. Equipping it changes the way Hornet swings her needle, slowing down her attacks but giving them much wider reach. The strange part is that this increased range does not come with any bonus damage, so while your needle covers more ground, each strike still hits with the same force. For some players, that trade-off can feel a little underwhelming, especially in fast-paced fights where speed matters more than reach. Where the Reaper Crest truly shines is in its silk efficiency. After you use binding, you enter a window where every successful needle strike produces silk fragments. These fragments can be collected to refill your spool, giving you a steady stream of silk to work with. This means you are almost never running dry when it comes to using silk skills, and you have more flexibility to heal in the middle of fights without worrying about resource management. It changes the pacing of combat, encouraging you to bind and immediately go on the offensive. Another neat trick with the Reaper Crest is that the silk fragments do not disappear right away. If your spool is already full, you can leave them floating in the air and pick them up later when you actually need the extra silk. This adds a small layer of strategy to encounters, letting you plan ahead instead of panicking when your health dips too low. So while the Crest may not feel rewarding from a pure damage standpoint, its silk-generating ability makes it a strong choice for players who love weaving in silk skills and keeping their healing options open. The Witch Crest is one of the more unusual rewards in Hollow Knight Silksong, obtained after breaking free from Greyroot's curse. Right away, it changes how Hornet fights by turning her needle attacks into whip-like strikes with impressive range and solid speed. On paper, that sounds amazing, but the catch comes with the bind. Instead of simply channeling to heal, you actually have to get up close and hit enemies with it in order to restore health, which makes healing risky in the middle of chaotic encounters. What makes the Witch Crest stand out even more, though, is not just its attack style, but the tool slots it unlocks. It is the only crest in the game that allows Hornet to equip 3 blue tools at the same time. For players who enjoy experimenting with builds, this is a massive deal. Blue tools can offer some of the most impactful upgrades and utility options, so having access to 3 at once can completely reshape how you approach combat. With the right combination, especially if you also manage to use the Vesta Crest slot to push it up to 4 blue tools, Hornet can feel ridiculously strong. The Witch Crest opens up room for some of the most powerful setups in Farloom, giving players a taste of high-risk, high-reward gameplay. You trade away safe and reliable healing for the chance to maximize your toolkit, and if you're willing to embrace that risk, the payoff can be incredible. The Wanderer Crest, found deep within the Chapel of the Wanderer in Moss Grotto, is easily one of the most fun crests to play with in Hollow Knight Silksong. Its entire focus is on speed, cranking up Hornet's attack rate while cutting down the needle's range significantly. At first, the loss of reach might feel harsh, but the payoff is well worth it. The sheer speed makes Hornet feel snappy and agile, which is perfect for slicing through enemies during exploration or keeping pressure on bosses without giving them a chance to breathe. Where the Wanderer Crest really starts to shine is when you have enough silk to bind. In that state, every single needle hit has a chance to become a critical strike, tripling the damage. Now combine that with the lightning-fast attack speed, and you get moments where bosses absolutely melt before your eyes. It is a crest that thrives on momentum, rewarding aggressive playstyles while keeping combat fast and thrilling. If you want to push the critical hit potential just a little further, you can pair the Wanderer Crest with the Magnetite Dice. It only bumps your crit rate from 2% to 2.2%, which sounds laughably small, but across hundreds of hits, that tiny increase adds up. For players who enjoy gambling on big bursts of damage and love the feel of relentless attacks, the Wanderer Crest delivers some of the most entertaining gameplay in the entire set. The Shaman Crest is tucked away in the ruined chapel of Moss Grotto, and it is easily one of the most game-changing crests you can unlock in Hollow Knight Silksong. Its entire design revolves around silk skills, boosting their damage by a massive 50%. Since silk skills are already strong tools in Hornet's arsenal, this crest takes them to another level, letting you blast through enemies and bosses with devastating precision. Being the final crest locked behind Act 3, it definitely lives up to its late-game reputation. Equipping the Shaman Crest does not just boost your skills, it also transforms Hornet's needle attacks into ranged energy shots. On top of that, it allows you to slot in up to 3 silk skills at once. That combination alone can feel overpowered, since you are essentially turning Hornet into a walking artillery platform with answers for almost any situation. Of course, there are trade-offs to keep things balanced. Binding is restricted to being grounded, which limits your mobility when you need to heal, and the crest forces a slower, more methodical playstyle. But if you are the type of player who enjoys unleashing a barrage of abilities and watching health bars disappear in seconds, the Shaman Crest is absolutely worth the wait. It is a fitting capstone to the Crest collection, rewarding patience with raw magical power. The Architect Crest is every tool lover's dream come true in Hollow Knight Silksong. Found in the Chapel of the Architect within the Underworks, this crest is built entirely around tool potential and synergy. With 3 red tool slots to play with, you can customize Hornet's kit in ways that feel both creative and devastating, making it one of the most versatile crests in the game. Once you unlock it, it is hard to imagine ever taking it off. What makes the Architect Crest shine is not just the extra slots, but the abilities it brings along with them. Being able to repair your tools mid-fight completely changes how you approach long battles, since you no longer have to worry about them breaking at the worst possible moment. On top of that, every needle strike becomes a multi-hit attack, allowing you to stack damage quickly while still being able to bind and heal normally. It is a crest that turns every encounter into an opportunity to flex your tools in the most efficient way possible. Even though it has been nerfed between patches, the Architect Crest still holds its ground as the best all-around crest in the game. It works in exploration, boss fights, and just about any situation you can throw at it. If you love experimenting with builds or simply want the crest that gives you the most flexibility without sacrificing power, the Architect Crest is the clear winner. It is the definition of versatility, and it proves that tools truly are Hornet's deadliest weapons. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.